Today's Tuesday tip, we're talking about pavers. People always think about their exterior pavers or hardscape materials or adding that extra patio. And so we wanted to talk about the different options that you have with outdoor pavers, and how to lay out a design and the features of a patio pavers and things like that. And so first of all, we want to think about the layout of the yard and the function of the yard. You want to think about what are we going to be doing in the yard. We're going to be doing is about a pool, and we're going to need pool space for pool chairs. Is it a space that we're going to build a gazebo on? Is it a space that we want to have a walkway from one space to the next? And so we need to keep all of those things in mind. The other things that we also need to keep in mind are the textures of the current house or the current landscape around. For an example, if you have a brick home, you may want to use a more brick style paver. If you want to use a home that's a little bit more rustic or a little bit more country, you may want to use a paver stone or a flagstone type material. And so I just kind of wanted to go over a couple of those today for you to give you some idea, and then we'll hit on some tips of how to maintain those. So first of all, this is a flagstone product. It's a stone product that can be laid down, and you can mortar it in, or you can also come in and you can put polymeric sand between it. Polymeric sand is a sand that we use to keep the paver locked into place so it doesn't shift, but it also is used along the edges in order to keep from weeds germinating or coming up in the edge of the beds and those type of things. So this is one product. This is another flagstone, a different variety of flagstone right here. You can see the color contrast between the two. So when you think about flagstones, or you think about pavers or retaining walls or any kind of hardscapes, you have so many different colors in there that you can choose for a contrast. So here's two examples of a flagstone product. Here is a gray slate type stone product here. You can see that it's flat on both sides, it's thin, it has a gray texture over the top, but this is a product that we use a lot of times in walkways or sidewalks or in commercial areas to give it that paver look, but to also keep that manufactured commercial look as well. Here's another paver. This is a thinset paver. If you notice, this paver is a little thin on the side. It's only about 3/4 of an inch thick. What we do with this paver is we can take this paver and lay it directly over concrete or lay it over the current surface that's there, so we don't have to come in and rip out all the concrete or rip out all the asphalt or whatever the case may be. We can actually take this product and lay it right over the top, seal it in, and then polymeric sand it around the corners to tie it in for joints and tie the joints into place. And then one other one we're going to talk about is the standard brick paver. This is a standard brick paver. As you can see, it's a lot thicker than our thinset paver that we had just a second ago. You can see the difference between those two and the thickness of the pavers. This particular paver right here, we typically use it on patios, breezeways, walkways, around those type of surfaces, pools, but it's a little bit thicker, so it's a little thicker paver, and so that paver itself will hold a lot more weight. It also has these little notches on the side so that we can keep the grooves as we set them into place, and then it will also have the mulch and the polymeric sand between them. Those are a couple small examples of some paver selections. There are a number of paver selections out there on the market. What we could do is we could come out and get with you and look at what you have, look at the patio space. Then from a maintenance standpoint, maintenance care of a patio is pretty simple and pretty easy. What we recommend is that on any surface, patio or any kind of walkway or breezeway, there will be some mold and mildew that will build up in some of the cracks of the pavers. And what we recommend that you do is about once a year you can go through and just take a pressure washer and pressure wash very lightly, pressure wash the top of the pavers. If you pressure wash real hard, you will blow out the polymeric sand around the edges, and so what you can do is you can come back in with a bag of polymeric sand and touch up those edges around that. Then you can also seal the pavers, which will help from having that mold and mildew grow in those cracks and joints. So it's pretty easy once you get an installation of a patio. You only have to do that about once a year or once every 2 years, just to keep it under control, keep the mold and the mildew under control. I've been to some homes where they've never done it and never cleaned their patio, and it'd be completely black, and then we take it and clean it and get it cleaned off good and re-polymeric sand it, and it looks like a brand new patio. And so it keeps that color in the stone, and so we just need to clean it and get back down to the original color. So those are just some simple, easy tips on how to deal with your hardscape and your landscape.